Okay. The moment you've all been waiting for. I know it's cliche, but it's very true. Next Sunday is the Academy Awards. That means we are here today to give our final 100% concrete, not changing one bit, predictions for the 2016 Oscar ceremony. I am Sir Owen Disney. Joining me, as always, is AJ. And via the magical powers of Skype, please be nice to us tonight, Ashley.
You always say magical. But it's a piece of wire.
Okay, fine. I just think it sounds more cinematic, okay? Yeah, see, he agrees. So, you've been following along with our Oscar predictions since August. And if you have, thank you, by the way. And welcome back. And if you haven't, then we've been doing this since August, and we went all the way to the actual nomination day, which we did a reaction video on, which was fun. And then we had a discussion right afterwards talking about our reaction to the reactions. So there's that. And we've done all the award shows. We still have the Spirits coming up next Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be going up on midnight on Saturday when the award show's on Saturday night. I'm aware. And we have the Oscars. So this is the second to last. It's funny because we did the Spirits way too early. And it cost us big time.
That was a couple of years ago, though.
I no, that's what I'm explaining to you.
I want to mention as well, although it won't be in this thing, the Empire Awards over here in the UK are very similar to the Oscars more than usual.
Fair enough.
Which is somewhat refreshing.
So, a couple years ago, like you were saying, basically when it comes down to it, we went for the Spirit Awards way too early. We did it first. And that was before any precursors, anything. We just did it to do it.
Isn't this something for that Spirit Awards video?
But I wanted to mention that, though. I'm explaining that. So, now we're going to end with the Spirit Awards. And that video comes out next week. But this is the one. This is the big one right here. So this is the big deal. This is the biggest ceremony of the year. And next Sunday we're going to find out who will be taking home an Oscar. But tonight, we're going to tell exactly what we think is going to happen at the Oscars. So, without any further ado, AJ, take it away.
Alright, switching up the order a little bit to keep it a little more interesting for you.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you don't want us to go straight through the shorts and documentary first. So we're actually going to start with visual effects.
Ooh, okay.
Where we have Ex Machina, Mad Max, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars.
Okay.
I feel... a lot of people think that Mad Max could do damage here.
Mm-hmm.
Could start its reign here. But I feel quite confident that this will be Star Wars.
Okay.
Which may or may not be the only time it takes something.
We'll see.
Which will help.
Ashley?
I think... not to sound too predictable, but I'm going to go with Mad Max. I think, I've kept saying how I like the fact that it was practical special effects rather than, just stuff done by somebody in front of a computer screen. Because technically they both are special effects, and the amount of stuff that was done, I don't know how much butane they used on bloody Guitar Guy. That was an impressive sight alone. So, give it to him or he'll burn you.
I want to go with the Revenant here. I really do. But the thing about me not going for the Revenant here is the fact that I think this is going to go for something a little bit more, grand when it comes to the scheme of things. And I'm not going with Mad Max here because I do think this is the same thing AJ said, basically, and he'll see very soon that I'm not just copying him. It's because I have my predictions literally on that notepad, which I'm not even looking at right now. And that's the fact that Star Wars is taking this. And I believe that to be true. I'd love to see the Revenant win. I think that would be great. Great to steal another win. A very deserved win. And I know it got an Annie for the bear, which is very bizarre in its own right. And there are a lot of really great visual films here, but when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, Star Wars.
Okay. We're going to do the sounds now.
Oh, wow.
Starting with sound editing. for which we have Mad Max, The Martian, The Revenant, Sicario, and Star Wars.
Okay.
I was kind of thinking, pretty much the whole season, that these were just going to be whatever wins the sound is going to win both. But like yesterday, I started thinking against that, and I was thinking that the two movies that are going to kill each other over the text will take one each. So I think I might go ahead and go with that. And for sound editing, I'll say The Revenant.
Ashley?
I'm going to go with Star Wars Force Awakens. Not real any real reason. It's sort of... It's weird how
really.
I'm sort of going to be dishing them out evenly. We'll get to that.
What's funny about this series of predictions is all three of us are saying something different, and all three of us are saying something that the other person would say in other categories. I'm going with Mad Max Fury Road here. Because we did it, I believe American Sniper did it, if I remember correctly, that it won both mixing and editing, and I think that's going to happen again this year. I'd love to see The Revenant take one of them, but I've already got it winning an editing award later on in the night, spoiler alert, and I don't have Mad Max winning one except for here, so that's the reason why I'm going with it. Makes sense to me.
As long as it makes sense to you.
Yes.
And of course, sound mixing, we have Bridge of Spies, Mad Max, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars. Exactly what I just said on the other direction, so I'm going with Mad Max.
Ashley?
I'm going with Revenant.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mad Max here.
Okay.
Anything The Revenant can win, I'm going to be happy with, but I think Mad Max is winning here. We'll see.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Alright, we're going to go to the shorts now, so buckle your seatbelts.
Strap in. It's time.
We'll start with live action, where we have Ave Maria, Day One, Everything Will Be Okay, Shock, and Stutterer. Guess what? I've actually seen all of these now. Ave Maria is probably not, because it's kind of the most comedic one. Stutterer kind of is too. My personal favorite is Everything Will Be Okay. It's like an emotional powerhouse within half an hour and has some of the best performances you'll see all year in it from its two leads, one of which is a little girl. But given the subject matter, the winner is either going to be Day One or Shock, and given how... Yeah, just going based solely on subject matter, I would say the winner will be Shock. It's just one of those ways that felt like a winner. It's wartime, but it's also about two kids and their bike. It's very awardsy.
Does not sound fun.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I've seen the trailers, and the one that is like, I really hope they release it online in some shape or form free, is Everything Will Be Okay, so I'm going to go with that one.
And I will second this sentiment. Everything Will Be Okay is my pick as well.
I hope so. It's definitely the best one. But
I unfortunately have not seen the shorts yet. I will be doing this tomorrow, but we're doing the video today, so.
The really great thing over here, all the ones that got nominated for the shorts at the BAFTAs are getting released next week. 10 days after the ceremony.
We get that too sometimes.
it doesn't matter anymore.
No lie.
Alright, for animated short, we have Bear Story, We Can't Live Without Cosmos, Prologue, Sanjay Super Team, and World of Tomorrow. I got to see all of these too. And they're all good to one extent or another. My personal favorite was Bear Story, but it has no chance. I feel pretty confident that this is most likely going to be World of Tomorrow.
Ashley?
They don't normally go that too different from the Annies, so I'm going to say World of Tomorrow as well.
And for the first time of maybe many, maybe not, we're all three in agreement here. World of Tomorrow wins.
Okay. And our last short documentary. We have Body Team 12, Chow Beyond the Lines, Claude Lanzmann, Spectres of the Shoah, and A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness. I saw two of these, Chow Beyond the Lines and Last Day of Freedom. For some reason, Body Team 12 was sticking out at me. but there was also Last Day of Freedom, which Last Day of Freedom I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's my bias going towards it, because it's another one that's like just a real powerhouse of a thing. It's also animated weirdly. And it's got a really, really strong story in it, but I don't know if it's as strong as something like Body Team 12 has. Okay. But I'm going to actually go ahead and say Last Day of Freedom anyway.
Ashley?
I'm going to go with Body Team 12, just because it's one of these. It's like last year when it was like, I'm doing it on the name. I haven't seen any of these documentaries. I've heard of a couple of them and getting a lot of buzz. So, but yeah, I'll go with Body Team 12 because it just sounds like SEAL Team 6. And it gets flashback to Zero Dark 30, and apparently every film has to have a number in it.
I still remember the one from last year's name. Crisis Hotline Veterans Press 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Press 1. Okay, there's references last year. I'm going to stick with Ashley's choice here, too, and go with Body Team 12.
I almost just kept going and skipped right over you. I thought you said something, but I...
Just call me Mr. Sullivan. Continue.
The only one I remember from last year is La Parka.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the one about, like, the slaughterhouse or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for documentary feature, we have Amy, Cartel Land, The Look of Silence, What Happened to Simone, and Winter on Fire, Ukraine's Fight for Freedom.
This is tough.
3 of these are Netflix, by the way, which is weird. It's clearly down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a tough category.
Yeah, because Amy is totally I still feel like Amy is that movie that could be the one that wins everything until the last minute. And obviously its competition is The Look of Silence.
Yep.
Which has really, really heavy subject matter and a guy that supposedly has been cheated before because he did the act of killing and did not win. But at the same time, I think like everybody votes for documentary as far as winners go.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Amy has a much more mass appeal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I just really don't know.
Same here.
I really am leaning towards The Look of Silence. But at the same time, I don't want to lose our little prediction game.
That's the problem with this. Seriously, it is.
No offense, it'd be really embarrassing to lose to you.
Oh, thanks. Happened last year.
Oh, so I think I am going to go with... I'll just go with Amy.
Ashley?
To me, it's a 3-horse race. Because probably it was due to the fact that within 24 hours of seeing Cartel Land, I did see Sicario. So if anything, that's a double bill and a half. But the film that stayed with me and it got completely crazy viewing figures when it was shown on British television over here last month was Amy. She has the appeal to God knows how many people. And, people that never saw it in the cinema missed out because some of the footage that's shown there is incredible. And if anything, if it did win the Oscar, it might teach all these young people, like One Direction, look, deal with fame properly, don't get hooked on drugs. I know some people may want you dead, but I don't want to have to bloody read all over Twitter, oh, this person's dead because they had a heroin overdose. So I'm gonna go with Amy. It's stuck with me. When it stuck with me, the story of somebody that was so innocent and then fame, the fame monster. Lady Gaga caused it. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. She didn't, honest.
I'm also going to go with Amy here. I think it's got enough strength to sweep, and I think it's going to. But I do get nervous every time that I get this in foreign because it's not always a guarantee.
Okay. Our next one is Song. We have Vernda from 50 Shades of Grey, Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground, Manda Ray from Racing Extinction, Writings on the Wall from Spectre, and Symbol Song number 3 from Youth. Well, the most mainstream option is Spectre, but I really don't think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other option would be The Hunting Ground, I think. That's really the only other one that has buzz behind it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I heard, yeah, okay, the Weeknd song, I suppose I've heard about, but...
Yeah. Whether right or wrong, he does have
I
buzz.
guess Gaga just seems like a safe choice, I guess.
It really does. Ashley?
Well, considering it's the only song that actually means something till it happens to you. You know, the fact that that was getting buzz just as a song, not being attached to the film, I think is more significant. The fact that as well it only plays during the actual credits after sitting through a harrowing film, and you get a harrowing song with it, that has way more impact than a bloke singing falsetto at the start of a James Bond film, which is actually not that memorable a song, compared to Adele's Skyfall. In all honesty, the fact that he was apparently chosen about 2 years ago was like, seriously? You know, you can do better than that, MGM. I wouldn't say Radiohead was a good fit, but, you know, it just...
Don't
The
mean to
fact
show
that
you
the,
these,
fact
or do you
that the
got it?
intro of the
No,
song
you can
drags
keep
on
it there.
for
I'm looking at it.
45 seconds before the credits
It's
even
upstairs.
bloody start.
Alright.
Sorry, I'm angry about that song. Can you tell?
Yeah, it shouldn't be in here, obviously. Sam Smith's got a lot of buzz behind him, and I don't think that continues here. The Weeknd is massively over, and I believe he did well at the Grammys. So, even though I didn't watch the ceremony, I do know that that song has done really well for itself. But, at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that very soon, Lady Gaga is going to have an EGOT, and this is where it continues, the hunting ground, till it happens to you.
I was just checking, it wasn't in the Golden Globe nominations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it was like, well, we've got to choose the best of the rest of them. So that's, I think, why they went with Spectre.
Since Brian Wilson, of course, was pretty much disqualified.
But then at the same time at the Globes, they gave Gaga the win for American Horror Story for apparently no reason. So maybe they were making up for it. Alright, our other music-themed one, score.
I love this.
We have Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Hateful Eight, Sicario, and Star Wars. This is kind of like... I'm not really sure where this is coming from, but apparently a very large number of people think that John Williams is a huge threat. And obviously there's the whole... Carter Burwell's been doing his thing for a long time, and this is his first nomination, and a lot of people think it's some... I don't know what they're smoking, but they think it's his best work.
No.
Obviously Johansson's stuff for Sicario is fucking badass. But,
Newman's score is very cinematic.
yeah.
Human score
I
sounds
saw-
like Skyfall, though.
I saw a really cool thing said about, that opening score of Sicario during that opening raid.
Right.
The piece is called The Beast, I think.
That's cool.
And it's made to sound like almost like lungs breathing with a heartbeat.
That is
awesome. So, having said all that, I'm hoping this isn't wishful thinking, but he's just been doing so well this season, just picking up wins left and right, and the respect for him was already there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, Morricone will have this. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that.
Ashley.
Given this is Morricone's first score in about 20 plus years, I'd say they're going to give it to him. Because I think he's only won one proper Oscar, I think, for The Mission.
That sounds
And he
right.
got an honorary Oscar, I think, as well. And all the rest were nominations. John Williams has won a ton. The other guys have got a chance. He might be dead soon.
And
Morricone's old. You know, he was doing Sergio Leone scores 50 years ago.
Good God.
You know, I think you need to acknowledge his career as much as possible. So I'm going to go with Hateful Eight.
A 100% complete agreement here. The best movie of 2015 is going to win a very deserved Oscar for Morricone.
So, alright, for makeup and hairstyling, technically, we have The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared, Mad Max, and The Revenant. This is clearly Mad Max.
Ashley?
Mediocre! Oh, Mad Max.
I want to give this to The Revenant, but this is going to be yet another victory for Mad Max.
The end?
That's it.
Okay.
I don't have to say anymore.
Can you do makeup and hair for just not bothering to shave? That's pretty much The Revenant, isn't it?
Well, there's what they did to Hardy's hair.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's not there now, but that's what they did to it. But it just depends. I don't know.
But was that Mad Max?
Oh, I was talking about The Revenant.
Yeah, but both.
His two movies are battling each other for the text. It's hard to keep them together anymore.
100-year-old man who came out the window and put in Legend. And it's like...
Oh,
wow.
I forgot that totally could have happened. Oh, shit. We lost him.
Oh, no.
Just as we were going into... well, good. That gives me some time to sort out costume design.
Okay.
You might want to... Yeah.
I can't do anything about it. It's dying.
For costume design, we have Carol, Cinderella, The Danish Girl, Mad Max, and The Revenant. What a boring category to get stuck on. The two, I mean, Mad Max did just win the BAFTA.
Yeah, that's jumping out at me, though.
And I thought that was strange.
It was.
Because Mad Max was like the one movie that wasn't jumping out. This is like the one category that Mad Max is in where it didn't like jump out at me as it can clearly have this. Obviously I feel like it's down to both of Sandy Powell's nominations.
Yep.
Carol and Cinderella.
Correct.
So I was just going to go ahead and go with Cinderella, actually. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if Cinderella's, like, had any big wins this year or not.
No, not that I'm aware. Well, then again, I don't follow precursors like you do.
So it wasn't... It's not, like, an obvious choice, but I just feel like it totally could be a winner. I mean, she could cancel herself out here, too.
See, that's a possibility.
But...
I bring it up every year. And
I don't mean literally cancel out. I just mean she can actually lose both, and it's plausible.
Oh, yeah.
Because Carol does seem like a really good choice, also. But I just feel safe going with Cinderella. So even though it totally could be Mad Max again, which would be interesting. So you can probably go ahead and go.
I guess I'll just go then. I've been fighting with this one for a while, and then I actually looked at the Costume Designer Guild, which actually is going to be on the 23rd, I believe. So it's not done yet. It's just something that's still up in the air. And I look at the lists of nominations, and I look at the lists of the Guild, and there's something missing from that list that is on the Oscar list. And that makes me think that it's not as much in contention there because it was not voted for when it actually mattered with the Guild itself. And it's like, if you have a Disney movie, stuff like, I mean, granted, we don't really like them, but like Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, stuff like that, comes down to movies like that. Movies we really don't like, but
Alice in Wonderland actually won it, too.
It did, exactly. You have to put a little bit more faith in a Disney, I guess you would call it a Disney period piece, I guess the best way to put it, and go with something like that. And I really
We'll be seeing it again when they want to do that Cruella de Vil movie with Emma Stone.
Right.
That'll be in this category when that happens.
I'm guaranteeing it will.
All those fucking fur coats.
The computer died on us. That's the reason why everything happened the way it did. My apologies for that. I have to fix this. But I will state right now that I think it's pretty obvious. I think Cinderella wins this.
I wouldn't call it obvious by any means, but...
Well, okay, not obvious like that. I mean, obvious as in, it's just, in my mind, it fits the best.
We're going to be pissed if it's the Danish Girl.
I think the Danish Girl's done. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
It's easy for you to say when you didn't see it.
That's one of the only things I didn't see, so that says something.
Still haven't seen... We do this whole Oscar thing, and you make it like it's this big deal.
It is.
You never saw Still Alice. You never saw last year's Best Actress winner. And New Kingsman villain.
Yeah, but I will see this year's Best Actress winner for sure.
We could probably go ahead into production design. He can just catch up on these two, because they pretty much go hand in hand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, we'll go ahead and go to production design, which we have Bridge of Spies, The Danish Girl, Mad Max, The Martian, and The Revenant. I'm still kind of blown away Carol missed here.
Yeah, that shows me it's not as strong.
Once again, I feel like it's down to the two. But just given... when I research exactly what counts as production design, I feel pretty confident saying Mad Max.
What is counted as production design?
A lot of people like to dismiss it as the only production design in Mad Max is the deserts, which they didn't make. The deserts are already there. But the production design, somebody described it as it's pretty much anything that isn't a costume or an actor that you're looking at.
Right.
So everything they did with the cars is production design. Morton Joe's Lair and all that, the Citadel.
True.
All of that stuff is production design. Just the cars by themselves, I think, is enough to get them a win in production design.
That makes me feel more comfortable with going with it, honestly.
Yeah. All right.
So, Ashley, have you returned? Dead air. Ashley.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to go into production design?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, I can't hear you guys, so... Apologies, video people.
That's so random.
God. All right, you go through production design, and he'll do these two when he's present.
Finally present. Okay. There we go. So... Question is, can you hear me?
It works now.
Good. So you can continue.
I was done. You were going to
No, Ashley can continue.
Okay.
Ashley, continue with where you were. We're on costume design.
Oh, costume design. For this one, I'm going to go with Mad Max, just because they look very good, but you obviously can't rule out Carol and Cinderella, given that it's the woman that I think's won 3 straight years, I think. Or at least 2. In terms of her work. I can't remember her name off the top of my head because I haven't done the research, but
Sandy Powell.
I think Mad Max, just because all those extras, they've all got to have costumes. Deserve some effort, so I'll give it to Mad Max.
And I'm sure we go hand in hand on this one when it comes to costume design and production design. Ashley, your prediction for production design?
Mad Max as well.
Yep.
Yeah. What's yours?
I really want to go with Bridge of Spies here, but it's a sucker's bet.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because I really like to see it win something this year. I'd love to see The Revenant win this. I wouldn't even have an issue if The Martian won this. But, yeah, this is Mad Max, for sure. I think this is one of the locks of the night.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to skip around a little before we get to the really big stuff. We're going to go to foreign now.
Okay.
For foreign, we have Embrace of the Servant, A War, Mustang, Son of Saul, and Thebe. Is there really any discussion to have?
Nope, not really.
I know people are trying to build up that Mustang is lurking in the back here, but this is clearly Son of Saul.
Predicted that at the Globes and it burned me. I'm not going to let that happen again. Ashley?
Son of Saul.
Son of Saul.
Alright. On to the other easiest one of the night. Animated. Anomalisa, Boy in the World, Inside Out, Shaun the Sheep, and When Marnie Was There. I can see Boy in the World, and it's really cool. And as you know, I really love Anomalisa and Shaun the Sheep, but this is clearly 100% going to be Inside Out.
Ashley?
It's Shaun the Sheep. No, it's Inside Out. I just wanted to sing the lyrics of that song on an Oscars video.
I'm really happy to say that this could be another big win for Disney, and very deserved. I love this movie, and it's going to get animated without a question.
Okay. You ready? We're getting into big shit now.
Oh boy. Let's do this.
The award that could be the deciding factor of the entire night. We are on editing now.
Yep.
For editing, we have The Big Short, Mad Max, The Revenant, Spotlight, and Star Wars.
Right.
The thing about this is that if you are familiar with these races, it should not be a surprise to you for me to say that if The Big Short should win editing, the picture race is probably over. But we won't know who wins editing until that night. So, and there's the idea that I don't think that, because Spotlight is still here as well, more so than people I think realize. I don't think it has a shot here.
That's weird to say that.
Missing the guild was a big deal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But in the odd circumstance that happens, I think the picture race ends in that direction.
Right.
But since I'm really not foreseeing either of those, I'm going to stick with what I think has been the clear choice for this from the get-go, which is Mad Max. Because editing is typically known for going hand in hand with picture lately. But editing was also, at one point, the big action movie award. Like, I think Speed got editing, and The Matrix got it, The Bourne Ultimatum got it. So, yes, it's totally... I feel pretty confident that Mad Max will have this. Unless The Big Short is a huge picture contender. Even more so after its PGA win. So, yeah.
Ashley?
I can't give it to The Revenant, because there wasn't enough editing. Because some of those, like, prolonged, like, skyline scenes, it was like, okay, you could cut a few seconds there. In all honesty. Make it 150 rather than 155. Because some of them was just like... you occasionally had that with Sicario, where it was like the shot went on for too long. But, and that's why I have to say Mad Max. If you can get a... clearly was longer than a 2-hour film... but edit it in such a way and keep it pacey and keep it with the music and everything, just to make it feel like a, rather than a built, you have periods of intense action. It pretty much felt like a 2-hour long one scene because the action sort of never stopped because of the taut editing. So that's why I'm going with Fury Road.
I'm sorry you lost me at cutting a minute out of The Revenant. If you were to cut 1 second out of The Revenant, I would end you.
I don't know. People sticking out their tongues to go with snow. Like, what?
It was the one... There had to be a light scene and all that depressing darkness.
Yeah, there really did.
That wasn't light, that was... What the shit are they doing now?
Daisy Domergue did it too.
Yeah.
Nobody gave her shit.
Bit, everybody laughed when he broke out the horse. That was the funny bit.
Okay, you didn't give an answer for editing.
No, I didn't. The Big Short is a definite danger here. And I think it's a real solid contender. A lot of people are putting over its editing, and it's magnificent, so I wouldn't mind if it happened. But
even if it wasn't such a major player in the picture competition, it's still, like...
Exactly.
Really flashy the way they like it.
It's weird Spotlight is not really in contention here. And we've talked about editing going hand in hand with the actual picture race, and then we talked about editing going hand in hand with the action movie. And it's funny because this year I'm going hand in hand with the picture race. And just like Ashley said, cutting 5 minutes or so out of the movie, and AJ basically said he was going to end him if he did this, I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to say that this is the start of the complete and utter dominance of the Revenant.
Okay.
I'm not going down with the ship like last year. I guarantee The Revenant wins at least one thing. American Hustle didn't even do that. I'll never live that down.
Alright, cinematography. We have Carol, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max, The Revenant, and Sicario. For a while there, Carol felt like a bit of a threat here.
Right.
And of course, Mad Max is always a threat in any of the tech categories.
Oh, yeah.
And as I've had to say in a few videos now, people have been giving Chivo shit for winning this will be his third in a row, but on top of that, they're starting to dismiss his cinematography as being boring and gimmicky.
Okay. Don't see it, but okay.
Yeah, screw them.
Yeah, no lie. They're not our friends.
I think he'll be fine. I think he will get that third in a row.
Agreed. Ashley?
I'm gonna. Don't want to say this.
I know what he's gonna say.
Don't do it, man. You're gonna regret it.
I'm gonna go with Emanuela's Becky because
Okay.
Roger Deakins never wins.
There we go. I was waiting for that.
I was umming and ahhing as if to go. I want to go fuck it, but I actually want a chance of possibly winning, and I've got to catch up way far. So the only way I can catch up is not lose points to either of you guys, because I know both of you are saying Revenant. So.
Yep, indeed. And one more for The Revenant. Chivo.
If Roger
Thumbs
Deakins wins, though, I'm going to lose my shit.
No. That's not the only thing. There is actually a prediction coming up later on in the show that if it were to happen, we would be very happy to be wrong. And you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Here we go. The Big Eight.
Oh, boy.
The shit we've been talking about all year.
Yes.
Well, since August.
Well, still a long time.
That's like half a year. That's less than half the year, but fuck it.
6 months. Half a year. You're right.
Adapted screenplay. For adapted screenplay, we have The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, The Martian, and Room. For a while there, I was saying that I felt like there was a huge possibility that The Big Short would be up in the air and Room would be Precious. And of course, by that I mean the one movie that has a named director in its writing credits that just sweeps the entire year. And then from out of fucking nowhere, Jeffrey Fletcher came in and won for Precious.
I really, really want this to happen.
But with the position The Big Short is in now, I see no way it does not win this. So I'm saying The Big Short. So regardless, no matter what happens, we will still leave with Academy Award winner. I directed Step Brothers.
Oh, God. Ashley?
Yeah, just because of the Writers Guild, Big Short. I'd love it if it was Room, though.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a longer lasting story, obviously, because it's fictionalized and not based on fact. But considering how award ceremonies like adaptations, whether it be original or adapted of factual things, I'm going to go Big Short.
I have to agree. I'm not happy about it, and I really want to see Emma Donoghue win this. I think that would be amazing to say just screw The Big Short overall and it doesn't win anything after all the hype it had.
I totally just realized something.
What's that?
We'll get there.
Okay. It's easily the most worthy of this award, and I really want to see Room win this, but it's not going to happen. The Big Short wins.
Okay. Original screenplay.
I love this category.
We have Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Spotlight, and Straight Outta Compton. The thing I just realized, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I just want to go ahead and mention this. There was a big thing last year where everybody thought it would be like the top three directors obviously were Inarritu, Linklater, and Wes Anderson.
Right.
And the possibility came up that all three of them could go away with something.
Yeah, of course.
With Linklater, people thought that Linklater would take picture, Inarritu would take director, and Wes Anderson would take screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So all three of the big three would win.
But
and of course, Inarritu took all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But our big three directors this year are Inarritu, McKay, and Tom McCarthy. What people were talking about last year is looking really likely this year, with all three of them getting it in different places. Because, as you can see, Tom McCarthy is a credited screenwriter on Spotlight, which is clearly going to win this category.
Yeah. Ashley?
Go with the film that says its name in the very last line of the script. Spotlight.
I would really like to see Inside Out or Straight Outta Compton win this. It's just not going to happen. Spotlight wins.
Could Straight Outta Compton have the momentum, though, because of the whole Oscar so white thing?
If that was going to happen, it would have won the SAG Ensemble or something.
True.
And Idris Elba would have won the BAFTA.
Yeah.
That would have definitely happened if that were the case. But they did show him it like 50 times during the ceremony, so...
I thought they were building it up for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Even before, Rebel Wilson was the one that presented it to him, and she just kept gushing over him before she announced it. It was like a huge slap in the face, and she was like, "Oh shit, it's Mark Rylance."
I don't know whether Idris actually stood a chance, because I think that film got 1 day's worth of showings in UK screens in 4 places. Just because everybody had to see it on Netflix. I still haven't seen it because I don't have Netflix. I've seen... I haven't seen even any of the Amazon contenders either, but I'm signed up to that service. So, it's an advantage when nearly all the films now that are coming out are all Amazon films, where it's like, well, if I don't see it in the cinemas, I know 6 months after it's come out on DVD, it's going to be on Amazon forever because it's their film.
Director?
Oh, boy.
Okay. For Best Director, we have Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Miller for Mad Max, Andre Gonzalez Inarritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abrahamson for Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. One of two things can happen here.
Mm-hmm.
There's always, it's not a, in cement thing. It's just that because of what happened last year, there should always be a looming doubt about Inarritu. At least a little bit, despite the fact that he's doing it all over again and just, fucking his competition up right through here. Which, of course, is good. That is the right way. This should be happening. This is great. I love this.
Same here.
I almost thought that tears were going to come when I saw that DGA announcement. Because I wanted it so badly, and I couldn't believe he actually pulled it off 2 years in a row.
I called it, and I was very happy with that.
And of course, should he win this, it'll be the first time since Magowitz in 49 and 50 for A Letter to Three Wives and All About Eve. So it's a big... Which, of course, that shit doesn't matter now because records are broken every damn year, and this will just be another one of those on the pile.
Right.
That Inarritu has killed. Just like Idris Elba winning the SAG without being nominated. Never happened before him. But even so, there's still, on top of the fact that it's the one I really want to happen, there is some doubt inside me that I'm not jumping straight on it and saying, yes, absolutely, because he's been killing the competition.
There's uncertainty.
Should they want to still go for The Big Short because of that PGA win? They could totally sweep McKay up into this. They really could. With picture, director, and adapted screenplay, The Big Short could run home with this. This Inarritu train just feels way too powerful. So, that is what I will go with. I'm really, really hoping and praying for it, but I'm also thinking that might be the most likely one as well.
I also know that you, before everything happened with Inarritu, you were going the Tom McCarthy path, big time.
That's when I thought That's when I thought Spotlight was taking PGA.
Yeah, that changed everything.
Dead. You're getting your screenplay, Oscar McCarthy. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Ashley,
you go with the director of the best film of the year, Inarritu for The Revenant.
I wasn't aware Tarantino was nominated.
They're pretty much even.
Yeah, oh yeah. It is 1A and 1B, and I went on record saying that. Yeah, without a doubt here, but I'm just nervous, honestly. Like, there could be a shock here, and maybe not a good one. So.
We'll see.
Proving that PGA was a fluke.
Well, there's no bad director in here, so there's not...
No, I disagree I completely agree with that. There's no bad director there.
Okay. Supporting actress, an actual race.
Inarritu.
We have Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara for Carol, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Well, Kate Winslet really, really looks possible right now. As does Vikander.
That seems to be it.
And it's clearly the two of them. I think there's still some wishful thinkers out there throwing Mara's name out there. God, I'm really sorry, Jennifer Jason Leigh and Rachel McAdams, because I think I like both of you better than these three.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No, Vikander is really good and would make, actually, despite the shittiness of the movie she's in, would make a decent winner. And it's just are they going for the hot new thing, or are they going for the person that's already won? They typically
go... Black line? Huh? Old and busted new hotness? That's what you're going with.
Yes, it's clear that I am not a fan
Nope.
of Winslet and Steve Jobs. So maybe this is wishful thinking too, but I'm going to say that they'll go for Vikander.
Ashley?
I want it to be Vikander, but I feel it's going to be Winslet. They're both strong performances. In fact, all five really are, but it's a shame that Spotlight has got as many good performances as it does, because that hurts in the acting categories. So I'm going to say Winslet, even though I want it to be Vikander. And if she wins, it'll be not for the Danish Girl, it'll be for Ex Machina.
That.
Despite what it bloody says on the bloody captions.
That's the way I'll look at it.
The list of all the thank yous at the bottom, because I bet one will be Alex Garland.
Yeah, I think after this really wild race we've had for supporting actors, I think that at the end of the day, Kate Winslet's taking this. But Vikander is not out of the realm of possibility. It's either one or the two. And I don't really think anybody else has even got a chance right now.
Okay. For supporting actor, we have Christian Bale for The Big Short, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, and Sylvester Stallone for Creed. If you've been watching this race, this is very interesting.
Yes.
Because Stallone won the Globe,
right?
Which doesn't really mean anything, except for the fact that the room at the Globes is full of voters.
Right.
Like, none of them voted for the Globes, but those are the voters in the room with him.
Right.
And they all stood on their feet and gave him this massive standing ovation. Mm-hmm. And there's clearly something there for him.
Right.
And then it happened again at Critics' Choice. Once again, another one that doesn't... Stallone has only won stuff that does not matter, weirdly.
That is correct.
And was not even nominated at the places that do matter. So it's a very bizarre circumstance that he has remained the front runner since his Globe win. But the reason for that is because SAG came along, and SAG had only two people nominated for the Oscar in it, with Bale and Rylance. So it was like, whoever wins SAG is going to be Stallone's competition at the Oscars. And lo and behold, somebody not even fucking nominated wins.
Yep.
Which means Stallone is still in the damn lead.
Right.
So then finally BAFTA comes along, and finally Rylance gets a leg up. So Rylance is pretty much the best bet we have against Stallone.
Or is he?
But once again, though, it's still really weird that, I mean, I know there's the whole BAFTA didn't get screeners thing, and then they tried to pull that with SAG, too, but the movie had been out since early November. So I don't know what the deal was, but it's a very bizarre case because I've been saying a lot of the season I felt like Rylance had a good shot, but him losing SAG makes me wonder. And the fact that there doesn't seem to be a lot of passion from the inside for him.
No.
Like, I mean, like, the people that work with him love him. Like, I was talking about Tom Hanks, like, saying, oh my god.
Right.
And being, like, fanboying out on the set of Bridge of Spies because he was working with Rylance. But it's just a very kind of muted thing. And then there was the idea of, I was wondering, what if Ruffalo had taken BAFTA? That would have really fucked it up, but obviously that didn't happen. And then another thing you can throw in here is the idea, just, not that this is stuff that, like, you know, will happen or, like, has a possibility of happening. These are just things that, we're just talking. The Revenant has really started to, like,
skyrocket.
Push its way through this, regardless of the fact that the dude that made it just won 3 Oscars in the last ceremony. That is how strong this movie is, that it is at this point in the race. A lot of people are saying the race is totally over.
Right.
Like, a lot of people that are saying, like, you know, The Big Short can still win because of PGA, which is totally legit, are shutting them down and saying, are you blind? It's clearly The Revenant now. People are shutting the race down because of where The Revenant's at right now.
We don't know.
Let's say that's the case. Once again, this is clearly wishful thinking.
Oh, yeah.
There is no doubt about it.
This is what I talked
thinking.
about earlier, by the way, if you're curious.
But think about it for a second. The person that is the front runner does not have SAG or BAFTA.
Right.
And only has awards that don't matter.
Right.
Second place, it seems, is somebody who only has BAFTA, who hasn't had much of a strong showing in the big stuff.
Right.
Like I said, it couldn't even win SAG over a dude not even nominated. Is this category crazy enough, and is the Revenant's passion strong enough that something totally insane can happen?
It would be amazing. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, for God's sake, the dude is the star, is like the second star and the main star of the 2 movies that have been killing each other the whole ceremony.
That's true.
Regardless of that, I'm going safe and staying Stallone.
Ashley.
See, the thing is, I now have to say, would it help Adrian?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because it's really... My heart says Rylance, but I think just that reaction from all the people that can technically vote at the Globes, and I think this is the way they're going to say, oh no, you know, we voted for a film about black people. I'm not trying to say they're trying to cover the tracks, but if any chance there is to give recognition,
because he's white, that just piss him off more.
Mm.
they're already saying that shit. When he won the Globe.
The important thing is, because he'll have his hand of notes, he won't forget to mention anybody in the ceremony.
I know they're on the thank you thing at the bottom, but just to be clear, I'm still going to thank Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Just on my way out the door, when I go to sleep at night, when I say my prayers, I'm going to thank Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan if it makes you all
God bless
happy.
Mommy, God bless Daddy, God bless Ryan Coogler. Sorry.
So because of that, I'm going to say Mark Rylance.
Okay.
Well, another thing, I forgot to mention this when I was on
Complete
this.
swerve, but you know, fuck it. I'm going to go down with this shit.
I did it last year, sir. It's fun.
another thing that I'm not saying they're on the same playing ground. Obviously, I'm talking about two totally different actors. But still, if you want a precedent, Stallone played Rocky early in his career, and it was a big thing, and he was nominated, and it became like a big role he was known for.
Right.
And then much time has passed. He's old now. He's playing the part again, and he wins. This is exactly what Paul Newman did.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm not saying Stallone is Paul Newman or even a Paul Newman type. Despite the fact that Paul Newman did also play a boxer a couple of times.
Right.
But that's, if you want to say that it has happened before, it has happened before.
Well, Mark Rylance is in a death battle with Batman, the Hulk, Judge Dredd, and Bane. And I don't think he can take on that much awesomeness. So when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, it's going to be another big standing ovation, and Sylvester Stallone's going to take this. But I'll tell you right now, if Tom Hardy's name gets announced, this house is going to shake, legit, because it's going to be so much, like, overwhelming joy when it happens.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know, it's going to be bad, because it'll be like, I could have predicted that.
That would be, like, the real swerve. You know, the guy that comes in from out of nowhere.
Or, if there's overwhelming stuff for The Big Short, Bale could take this.
Yeah, it's really bizarre that they have a picture here about, like the most viewed nominees, apparently, and it's a picture of Hardy from The Revenant.
Yeah, it is.
And right underneath is a picture of Leo from Titanic.
Well, of course, the irony is...
It's awesome.
Stallone is going to do a, what's her name? Sandra Bullock. He's going to win a Razzie for best comeback.
Oh yeah.
And then possibly an Oscar the next night. Okay, it's not for it's not a worse category. It's the redemption category.
Right.
Suddenly added. But yeah.
It's easy from here.
And we're back to easy stuff.
Very easy from here.
Alright, for actress, we have Cate Blanchett for Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Jennifer Lawrence for Joy, Charlotte Raymond for 45 Years, and Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn. Remember that time when Saoirse Ronan was, like, in second place, and it was a battle? Remember that?
It seems so long ago.
Well, if BAFTA has told us anything, it's that Brie Larson has zero competition.
Yes. Zero competition. Ashley?
I'm just waiting for them to say Jennifer Lawrence, and everyone goes, "Shut the fuck." Yeah, Brie Larson for me.
I'm very happy to say this. Brie Larson wins. She hasn't been beaten all season. It's not going to start now.
Alright, best actor, we have Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian, Leo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. Are you watching World?
You're going to be next Sunday. Mark my words.
I've been doing the whole thing where I have that thing inside me where it's like
sinking feeling. It might be too perfect.
It's just yeah. But there may be a joke that is as old as time itself that will die this year. Mm-hmm. And by this year, I mean in 2 weeks.
Yes.
It actually does not look like DiCaprio will lose.
Nope.
So I was really holding my breath at SAG thinking, what if they say Bryan Cranston?
It was the only option, honestly. And if it didn't go that way, it's not going to change anytime soon.
I was kind of worried about BAFTA, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, but I was. But he's just... It happened like they always said it would, too. If DiCaprio was ever going to win an Oscar, it'd be for a season that he just wipes everybody out.
He's Daniel Dang this year.
A long time ago, Fassbender was his competition.
Yeah, where did that go?
But then, most people started agreeing that at this point Cranston's in second place.
Right.
So, yeah. Long story short,
It's a little cold in hell right now. The temperatures are dropping.
It looks like Leo's got this.
Yep. Ashley?
Well, one, I don't know why Eddie Redmayne's in here.
Yes.
Because I saw Concussion this week.
Oh, yeah.
And I honestly think, if you're going to... Because, the game, which I'll reference in a minute, there is a mini game within that game that says find the black nominee, of which it is impossible because there are none, because it's an in-joke. If any role should have got in and replaced Eddie Redmayne, it was Will Smith. That is a very good role.
I would have put 2 people in before him, but Will Smith definitely would have. I mean, I know people like to joke and say, his accent or whatever, but he totally would have deserved a nomination.
He belongs in here.
People laugh at it, but it's like you don't know it's Will Smith.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's why people went for the Eddie Redmayne, because he actually sort of sounded like Stephen Hawking, because he changed his voice. Either way.
So,
after about halfway through that movie, it's really easy to sound like Stephen Hawking.
Oh, yeah. The Zoolander trailer did it.
Yeah.
So, this week, a little flash game popped up online, which is entitled... let me get the name of it properly. I don't want to see it advert reporter. Damn it. Leo's Red Carpet Rampage. It's a flash game in which Leo's got to win his Oscar. Because that's what the buzz is all about. You can win MTV Movie Awards and apparently Grammys and Emmys.
I'm playing this game.
But the whole idea is, from what I can tell from what people have said, it's pretty much an impossible game to win. Although the real good thing is, other than that mini game that I say where it says find the black nominee, there's also one which is Act Harder, which is just his face going crazy. And then you remember the scene from Wolf of Wall Street when he had to crawl to the car?
Yeah,
that is a mini game as well. And the whole idea is when you get to it, it's like lists, Emmys, Golden Globes, BAFTAs, and then it gets to the Oscars and it just says 0. Well, I'm afraid that as of Sunday, that game is going to be wrong. And now I have to add a mini game so that Leonardo DiCaprio avoids getting fucked by a bear.
Of course.
I actually just came across a picture the other day from Django Unchained where it's when he's got his hand on Kerry Washington's head like this.
Right.
And they had cut her out and put an Oscar in her place.
Oh, I think I've seen that, actually. This is going to be probably the most watched Oscar telecast that we've had in years, because they're going to see something that people thought would never happen. All the conspiracy theories are finally going to be silenced. And people have been asking me, they're like, Owen, is it actually going to happen? I'm like, yeah, it actually is.
Him winning on top of the fact there's so many popular movies nominated for picture.
Yeah, no lie. All the Mad Max fans will be out in droves to watch.
Fucking Jack and Rose are going to win the same year.
Yes. Yeah, you will get that picture of Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio both holding Oscars together. That's going to be front page news Monday morning.
That's a weird way to pronounce Alicia Vikander's name, but okay.
What? Oh, that's funny. But yeah, that's a story right there. That's the Oscars this year are going to be about stories. I think feel-good moments of what the Oscars are going to be about this year. And with Stallone winning as well, that's another thing. But yeah, this is it. It's finally going to happen. Hashtag Leo DiCaprio finally wins. Yes.
Okay. We're down to our last one. For picture, we have The Big Short, Brooklyn, Bridge of Spies, Mad Max, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the last time things were like this.
This
Probably
late in the race.
Not since I've been watching, I don't think.
No.
But here's what's going down. I understand a lot of people think the Revenant has killed this race.
But
let's do this a bit realistically. The thing about it was, for a while there, all the movies that would win picture typically won, like, a lot. Not necessarily in recent history, but when you go back. But then, because there was, here and there was stuff like Crash that only won with 3. But for the most part, it was either 4 or more.
Right.
Like, The Departed won 4, No Country won 4, Slumdog won a shitload, The Hurt Locker won 6, The King's Speech took 4, I think The Artist got 5.
Mm-hmm.
But then Argo came along, and 2 years in a row, we had 2 Best Picture winners that only won with 3.
Right.
Because Argo had Picture, Adapted Screenplay, and Editing, and 12 Years a Slave had Picture, Supporting Actress, and Adapted Screenplay. Mm-hmm. So our number is getting significantly... It's still believable for the winners to have a low number. Like, they don't have to, sweep a bunch of stuff in order to still win.
Makes sense.
Despite the fact that 12 Years a Slave had, say, the important factor, and Argo had the We're Sorry Affleck factor.
Why?
But even so, you don't have to win a lot in order to win everything.
Mm-hmm.
And while people do want to brush it off and say, it was a fluke, or you can't always rely on guild wins and stuff like that, right up until the winner is announced, PGA is keeping The Big Short in this game.
No, I agree with that.
But that's not all. I know it seems like probably a smaller award, but once again, if you go back and look, there are something... Crash is a recent example. Winning SAG Ensemble is not something to be brushed off either, which Spotlight has.
Right.
And apparently, Spotlight is, like, at the very last minute, going insane with its campaign.
Correct.
And then there was the point in time where after The Big Short won PGA, it was like they got confident, and you didn't hear anything about it. And then suddenly, like in LA, big-ass billboards for The Big Short started showing up. And I guess they're really, really... Like, apparently Spotlight had, like, the highest trending thing on Twitter the other day or something.
That's what you were telling me.
So, Spotlight and The Big Short are really, really coming after The Revenant now.
For sure.
And the fact that one has PGA and one has SAG means in a year that is this insane, for Spotlight to only have original screenplay, or for The Big Short to only have adapted screenplay without editing or director or anything else behind it other than screenplay, it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
No, not at all.
Like if The Big Short, obviously The Big Short will have adapted screenplay. That's pretty much a given, unless Broom just decides they just completely fuck it over. But if The Big Short is going into picture with only adapted screenplay in its pocket, it's still not impossible that they'll say it anyway.
No, of course not.
And you could say the same for Spotlight also.
Absolutely.
Spotlight will just have original screenplay going in most likely, but there's really nothing saying it's impossible that it'll still get called.
Right.
Because it's also, you could say it's the big important thing also. They're both,
Oh, yeah.
They both have that important thing going on. That's another big issue.
Yeah.
And they're two totally separate issues, so they're not canceling each other or anything. So there's definitely an argument to be made for The Big Short and Spotlight. And once again, if you just want to go on the whole, people will say we gave Inaritu a shitload last year. There are so many reasons it could be one of the three.
Oh, yeah.
But the safe bet is The Revenant, which is weird because, once again, breaking trends left and right. Despite the fact that Mankiewicz won 2 in a row, I think somebody from way back, like when the ceremony was first, in its first few years, somebody won twice in a row. It's my understanding this will be the first year ever in Oscar history that 2 back-to-back picture winners were from the same director.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. And that's, like I said, it really could be The Big Short or Spotlight. Absolutely do not rule them out.
No.
Even if they only have 1 win going in, it's still... there's still totally a chance. But the clear choice right now seems to be The Revenant, and that's what I'm personally going to go with, and also hoping for.
It's more wishful thinking again.
I guess we'll see.
Ashley?
No, because I know what you're going to say, Owen. You go next.
Okay.
He's going to do something crazy.
I'm sure he is. There's people right now that are saying that Mad Max is still in this. And I can see that their ideas, all the tech wins combined with picture, might be enough.
Gladiator had Best Actor.
Yeah.
But if it didn't have Crow,
and
that's what it would have done.
I would say George Miller may be a threat here, but I don't think he is anymore. But I would say that he's one of the only other threats there is. He's the fourth, probably, if I had to guess. I'd love to say Abramson is fourth, but I can't, because...
After
I don't know at this point.
After Inarritu and McKay, I'm really not sure.
Yeah. I think McCarthy, Miller, and Abramson was probably the right order. The Martian's out of this completely. Brooklyn's out of this completely. Brooklyn's probably not even going to win anything if we go by predictions. The Martian's not going to win anything. Scott getting snubbed really kind of screwed The Martian big time. So you have Room, which I would give anything to see win this, but it's not going to happen. And you have...
Why would you give anything to see that happen when The Revenant is
Hold on, I'll get to that.
Who would say such a thing?
Hold on. It would really shock people if, like, Abramson took director. That would be, like, a big deal. Won't happen, but it would shock people. I love the fact that Room's even in contention here. I really do. I love the movie, and out of everything else, other than what I think is going to be the winner, I would state, without a doubt, I probably say that it's the second best movie here. I love Bridge of Spies. Seemed like I got a raw deal this year. Really did. Didn't go as far as it could have. Ryland still has a chance, but that's pretty much it. Which kind of stinks because it's a solid movie that really deserves more credit. I said Big Short winning PGA was a fluke. You know, maybe it was. Maybe it's not. We're not going to know that till next week. It still is a challenger here. Spotlight may be people discounting it way too much, and it might just come in and start surprising. But more than anything, I can be happy to say this, that not only is Inarritu going to win and DiCaprio going to win, and I think there's going to be wins for editing and cinematography, but at the end of the night, The Revenant is going to win Best Picture, and I'm very happy to say that. Ashley?
Let's go back 10 years. 2006. Everyone was going crazy about some little film called Brokeback Mountain.
He's using this against me. That's even better.
Yeah, everyone was saying it's going to sweep the board with everything.
Except for me.
And as soon as Ang Lee got director, everyone went, done deal. It's got Best Picture. Okay, you know, there's been things since then, and when the Academy have re-voted in a mock thing, Brokeback Mountain won over Crash. I honestly think this is going to be a year where they're going to give credit to as many different projects as they can. And considering how I said earlier that you can't give an acting award to a performance from way more than 2 or 3 leading characters when you've got a squad of about, trying to think, would it be like 8 or 9? When you've got acting performances strong throughout, you've got a tight story that's gripping, that has actually left people gasping in shock at the end of it. If you want to have a legacy that the Oscars needs to be proud of going into the next era, I guess, with the whole voting changes that are supposedly coming in, Spotlight should win. And I at this point, because I'm probably going to lose, that's why I'm saying this. I will go down with the shit. If I get it right, I'm overjoyed.
If
I get it wrong,
it's not impossible.
I'm still overjoyed because Revenant is a really, really good film. But I mean, it might be just because I only saw Spotlight 5 days ago. But Spotlight's going to have more of a lasting legacy than Revenant will be, I feel. And that's why I'm going to go with it.
It's definitely not a crazy idea.
No.
Like how everybody was saying last year how Boyhood was going to get one and Birdman get the other. And then obviously they just did the double instead. I honestly think they're going to try and give some recognition to it. Because, as I say, because you've only got 4 acting things, you can't give it to any of the... How many is it, I guess? Lee Schreiber, John Slattery, and then the 4...
Stanley Tucci.
Tucci, Ruffalo, okay.
Billy
the supporting characters as well. There's probably about 10, give or take.
That's the easiest way to put it.
Mm.
to give acknowledgement to the entire project, the only way you can really give it that is through Best Picture. Through the individual acting, you're just talking about that person. Through the editing, you're just talking about the person that did the editing. Through the screenplay, you're just talking about the people that wrote the screenplay. If you want to acknowledge the entire contribution of the film, it has to be picture. And I think for that reason, Spotlight is the nonsensical choice that I am making. It's not nonsensical, but it's just... I think Revenant has already had its impact in just the fact that this is the project that DiCaprio is winning for. That alone is going to have it steadfast forever, because it's like The Departed. People remember that because it's when Scorsese finally won the Oscar. That is my logic. I'm gonna go down.
Your logic was to compare it to a Best Picture winner.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we're done here.
Fuck you, Albert Pine!
Okay. So I want to thank everyone for joining us throughout the entire awards season. We still have our Spirit Awards video coming next week, and that will be the end of the 2016 awards season. And of course, that starts Halloween Horror Nights season, so that's the videos you're going to be getting on this channel. AJ will continue to bring you content every single weekend with AJ's movie reviews and verses. Ashley will continue to be a part of Gaming with Ash on Monday and the Wrestling Popcast, Raw, and as well as Wednesday Wrestling, as well as takeovers and pay-per-views. And Ashley, once again, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, or tomorrow, or this afternoon, or whenever it is for you.
Well, I'm actually contacting you from the year 3016.
Oh no.
I already know these results, I'm just doing it wrong.
No Black Eyed Peas reference, please. And AJ, once again, thank you for joining the entire season. Once appreciated, as always. Agree with us, disagree with us, leave a comment in the bottom deciding what you think the predictions for the Oscars are going to be. And hopefully everyone goes out and on Sunday night enjoys the 2016 Academy Awards. So that's what we got for this season. One more still to go. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.